So in module 3, we have 3 chapters. Okay, the first chapter is all about Unix file APIs. Okay, so we have studied the different commands like how to open the file, how to lease the file, how to create the directories. Different commands we have used. So related to that commands, we have file APIs. Okay, so that we'll be studying in first chapter. So second chapter we'll be studying about process and process controls. Okay, so and the last chapter it is again about process controls. Okay, process identification number, how to create the process, how to create the child process. Okay, so these 3 chapters you are going to study under module 3. So moving on to the first one, general file APIs. Okay, so APIs is nothing but it is an application program interface. Okay, so you have studied about frameworks, right? So frameworks is nothing but it will be having collection of APIs. Not just one API it will be having collection of APIs. Okay. So APIs is nothing but it will be having functions, it will be having small programs, libraries. Okay, so which will be used by the developers. Okay, not just one function, will be having several functions, so that will be used by the developer with the standard commands. Okay, so that APIs will be invoked by with the help of commands. Okay, for performing common operations, for example creating the file, deleting the files, closing the files, creating the directories. Okay, so I'm more focusing on the Unix. Okay, so it provides the developer with the standard commands for performing common operations so that they do not have to write the code from the scratch. Okay, for example, to create a file, he just can use a simple function API. Okay, create. Okay, so using that create API, he can create the file. So he need not write the entire code for creating the file. Okay, so we'll be studying different APIs. Okay, which can be used on different files. We have studied different types of files, right? So regular files, directory files, device files. Okay, so we'll be studying different files here. And what are the different special APIs which can be used on these files? Okay, so we'll be studying about open API, read API, write API, close, ch mode, for changing the permissions. For that also we have API. So we are not writing the entire program. Okay, we are just call the API ch mode and unmask, link, unlink. Okay, so we'll be studying around 10 to 12 APIs. So moving on to the first one, open. Okay, so open function, it establishes the connection between the process and a file. So open, so when it is meant for creating a file. Okay, so when you open a file, okay, if it is not existing, it will create and it will open the file. Okay, so when you open a file, a link between a connection between the process and the file will be established. Okay, so it can be used to create brand new files. For example, if the file is not there, you can create brand new files. Okay. So further, after the file is created, okay, any process can call the open function. Okay, any process can call the open function. Okay, so that file will be open, and in return we will be getting a reference number. We call it as a file descriptor. Okay, so whenever you open a file, you will be in turn will be returned with a file descriptor. So this is a prototype. Okay, you can see this is a prototype. So you can see here there are 2 header files. Okay, so one is sysbar types.h, and this is one more. Okay, so which is important, these two are the header files which is required for to open a file. Okay, so coming to the parameters, so you can see here there are 3 parameters. Okay, the first one is a path name, or you can give the name of the file. which you want to open. Okay, access mode. Okay, access mode can be on which mode you want to open the file, read mode, write mode. Okay, next is permission. We have studied about this, right? So different types of permissions we have studied. Okay, what to give for the owner, what to give for the others. Okay, there are three categories, right? So group, owner, and others. Okay, to which category you want to give what permissions. So in detail, coming to the detail, so the first parameter is path name. So it can be an absolute path name or it can be a relative path name. So we have studied, and even in the exam, you have answered this question: absolute path name and relative path name. Okay, the one which will start with the slash. So the next parameter is, okay, the second parameter is access mode. So access mode, an integer which specify how file is to be accessed by the calling process. Okay, so this is an integer value which specifies how the file need to be accessed by the calling process. So for the second parameter, the access mode value should be one of the following. Okay, constants. So these are the constants which need to be defined as it is, and they are inside the header file fcntl.h. Okay, so that is a header file we define. See, you can see here. Okay, this is a header file. Okay, so we have all these three flags inside that header file. So the first one is access mode is you are opening the file in read only mode. Next one is in the write only mode. And the next one, third one is a flag which allows you to open the file both in read as well as write. That means you can perform both operations. You can read the file as well as you can write to that file. Okay. So furthermore, one or more of the following modifier flags can be specified by using bit or. Okay, you can use bit or operations for specifying more than one flags. Okay, so you can have different access modifier flags. So these are additional flags. Okay, you can see here o append. So it is for appending the data to the end of the file. O trunc. Okay, so it will create. So this is if the file exists, discard the content of the file and set the file size to 0. Okay. Similar, you have o create for creating the file if it doesn't exist. Okay. Next one is OXL. Okay. EXL used with OCreate. So this is used along with OCreate only. Okay. So this flag causes open to the file if the file exists. Okay. So the next one is non-block. So it specifies that any subsequent read or write on the flag should be non-blocking. That means a process can block the read or write operation. Okay, so process can block the read or write operation if this is set. Okay, if this flag is set, you specify that any subsequent read or write on the flag should be non-blocking. The non-blocking means it should be allowed. Okay, so there is last flag, one more flag. So this specified not to use the name terminal device file as a calling process control terminal. Okay, so there are, you have studied different types of files, right? So this is a device file. It tells you should not use terminal device files as a calling process control terminal. Okay, so you should not open the terminal files, okay, the device files to perform the operation. Okay. Sometimes you can specify the name of the device files and perform the operation, right? Read or write. So if you write this flag, it will not allow you to use the device files. So the third argument. So coming to the third argument. So the first one is path name. It can be absolute or relative. Access modes. Okay. And the third one is permission. Here. So third argument is used only when the new file is created. Okay. So this is used only when you are creating the new file. Okay. So you are trying to open a new file which doesn't exist. Okay. So in that case, you can use these symbolic names. Okay, these are the constants. So it is very simple to remember these names. Okay. So you can see here USR. USR. Okay, so there are three categories, right? User, that means owner. Okay. GRP stands for group. Okay, permission you are giving for the group. And third one is others. The others is OTH. Okay. So this is all these three. Okay, I mean, yeah, all these are for users. Okay, again this one is for user u. Okay, so this is for group. Again this last G is for group. OTH and O is for others. Okay, so the first one it tells, okay, you are giving the read for owner, read permission to the owner or the user. So this is W stands for write permission, X stands for execute permission, RWX. So this is for giving all the three permission for the owner or the user. Okay. Similarly, this is for R for read, write, execute. So this is all three for the group. Okay. Again, this is for others. Very simple to remember. And you have to remember this. Okay. Further, for other APIs, you need this. Okay. So don't forget. So this is for users. You write like this to give permission, and this is for group, and this is for others. Okay. So these are all symbolic names for the file permission to be given for the particular file. Okay. We have a simple program here. This is a simple program. File you can see here. I have used open. Okay. And you can see here, I don't have one.txt file here. Okay, I have not created already. Okay, this file is not there, one.txt. And this is the first parameter, that is a path name. Okay, you can just simply give the name of the file. Okay, or in the particular path, if the file is there and you want to open that file, you can give the path name. And the second one is the access permission. This is a flag. Okay, so these are the flag you can see. So this is for read, write. Okay, you are giving both read and write permission for the file one.txt, and this is used along with this. So create the file if it doesn't exist. Okay, so this is very important. If the file is not existing, and you can use this flag for creating the non-existing file. And the last one is permission zero. Zero is not nothing but, okay, you are not giving any permission. Okay, so you can give the permissions. You have studied absolute permissions and all, right? So you can give 777, 644, 547. Okay. So go through the absolute permissions we have studied in the previous module. Okay. So you are trying to open one.txt file. If it is not there, you are creating that file. Okay. So if it is successful, okay, if you are able to create this file, a file descriptor will be returned. It is nothing but an integer. Okay. So file descriptor is nothing but, it is an integer which will be returned. So the return value of the open file, it will return -1. Okay, it returns -1 if it fails. Okay, so if it fails, if you're not able to open a particular file, it returns -1. Okay, indicating that it is a fail case. Okay, otherwise it will return, okay, return value will be a file descriptor. Okay, so file descriptor will be having the value greater than 0. Okay, so in this case you can see we have used cout. It's a C++. You can see here it is creating the file one.txt. Okay, and in turn it is returning a file descriptor, which is a non-zero value. Okay, here it is returning 3. Okay, if you are able to open the file, it will return file descriptor which will have the value 0 or greater than 0. If fails, it returns -1. Okay. So this is a very simple example you can give for open. Okay, open API. So there is one more function, okay, unmask or umask. Okay, it is called as umask. So umask specifies some access rights to be masked off. Okay, so for example, you have created a file with certain permissions. Okay, for group owner and others, you have given some permission. And now you want to change that permission. Okay, you want to modify that permission. So modify the permission, okay, placed on a newly created file or directory. So you can use this function for modifying the permission. Okay, so this is a syntax or prototype. So you can see here the return type is mode T. Okay, function name umask, and inside this you are giving one parameter which is of type mode T. Okay, so it is of the type mode T. Okay, it's a data type. Okay, and this data type is defined inside the header file std sys stat.h header file. Okay, so you can see this example, the umask. Okay, umask, and you are telling I want to remove this permissions. I want to remove this permission. So what does this will indicate? So this indicates for the group, I want to remove execute permission. X stands for execute permission. So only execute permission I want to remove for the group. And similarly, this stands for what? So this is, what is this? For others, you want to remove write permission. So remove execute permission from the group and write permission from the others. Okay. So after you execute this, it will return the old permission. Okay. Whatever the old permission was there, it will return that. So let's understand this with a simple example. Assume that you have created a file. You have created a file. Okay, and this is a permission. Okay. By default, the file which you have created is having this permission. Okay. What is this permission? 5 means 0, 1, 0. Again 5 means 0, 1, 0. 7 means in binary it is 1, 1, 1. Okay, refer to the absolute permissions. Okay. So it is read, write, execute, permission. Again, this is read, write, execute permission, read, write, and execute permission. So here it is. So this is for owner. Okay. This is for owner, or we call it as user. And this is for group, and this is for others. Okay. So here owner is having read and execute permission, group is also having read and execute permission, and others is having all the three permission. Okay. So this is a default permission when you have created the file. Okay. Now you are using this unmask. Okay, you are using this function umask. Okay, and you are setting this permission. Okay. So this is a new permission. You can give your number also. Okay. So you are writing this new permission. So what is this new permission? It is 0, 0, 0. That means for owner, all the three it is 0. And for group it is 3. So 3 means it is 0, 1, 1. So that means they are having write and execute permission. And others is having only execute permission. Okay. Now, how the permission will be set? Okay. How the permission will be set. So this is the actual permission. Okay. And this is the umask value or the umask permission, okay, which you have set, that is 031. Okay, you can see here tilde symbol which indicates you have to take the ones complement of this. Okay, what is the ones complement? Ones complement you have studied in logic design, correct? Or in CO. Okay, so ones complement, okay, it is nothing but 1 you have to change to 0, 0 you have to change to 1. So one's complement of this will be this. Okay. And now you have to perform bitwise AND. Okay. Logical bitwise AND between this and this. Between this and the complemented value. So what you will get? Here it is 1, 0, it is 0, 1, 1, it is 1, again 1, 1, it is 1, 1, 0, it is 0, 0, 1, again here it is 1, 0, 1. Okay. So what is this? This is 5, 4, and this is 6. So this is a new permission which will be set to the created file. So this is a old, when you created the file, this is the old permission. You have made certain changes, okay, by removing certain permission. Okay. Now this is your new permission. So that is, for owner is having read and execute permission, group is having the read permission, and others is having read and write permission. This is how you are performing, okay, change for the or modification of the permission. Okay. So they may ask you in the exam, explain umask function, how you can change the permission of the newly created file. Moving on to the next one, create. So create system call is used for creating a new regular file. So this is, you can either use open for creating the file, or you can also go for this function API create. You can see here you don't have here. Okay, so this is very important. Don't do the mistake. It is just CREAT, okay, for creating a new file. So it is having two arguments, okay, similar to open. So here the first one is path name. The path name of the file to be created. Okay. Next argument is a mode argument. So it is same as that of the open API. You have studied different modes, right? Read mode, write mode. Okay. Same as, okay, if it is asked for more marks, okay, you can explain the previous open file we had different modes, right? You can explain those mode. All the modes you can use even here. Okay. However, we have to use O create flag. Okay. If you are using open API. If you are using open API, you have to remember this. Okay, in the example I have shown, right? O create flag. So that we have to use if you are creating the flag. Okay. In using open function. So this is about create. The next API is read. Okay, so read is very simple. Okay, so as the name indicates, this API read function, it fetches a fixed size block of data. Okay, so it is fetching fixed size block of data from the file referenced by the given file descriptor. Okay, so I want to read 200 bytes. I want to read 100 bytes. Okay, so you have to first open the file. When you open the file, you will get a file descriptor. Okay, an integer. Okay, and that file descriptor you have to refer here, add as a first argument. So the next one is a buffer. The first argument is a file descriptor, which is an integer file descriptor that refers to the opened file. The second argument is a buffer. Okay, it's the address of the buffer holding any data that you read. Okay, so buffer is a temporary storage. Okay, so that is meant for holding the data. That address you have to specify. The third argument is size. Okay, size is nothing but how many bytes you want to read. For example, 200 bytes, 100 bytes. Okay, how many bytes of data you want to read from the particular file. Okay, and you can see here it is having the data type size hyphen t, I mean underscore t. It's a data type, okay, which is defined inside the header file. This bar types dot h. Okay, so this header file is very important. And we'll see one example. Okay. So here we have an example. Not anything. just try to run this program. So here you can see here you are trying to open the file 1.txt. Okay. So here you are using the mode. Okay. This is similar to the previous one, and you'll be getting a file descriptor. So that file descriptor you have to pass first one, and the second one is here you are creating a string. Okay, it's a buffer you are creating. Okay. So this buffer is meant for holding the data and the size of the buffer. Okay. So, so these are the three parameters you are passing, and cout will print the content of the data, okay, content of the file. Yeah. The next one is write function. Okay. So the next one, write function puts a fixed size of block of data into the file referenced by the file descriptor. So here it is to write the data to a particular file. It is opposite to that of read function. Okay. So again here you have three parameters. The first one is a file descriptor. It's an integer file descriptor that refers to the opened file. And the second argument is similar to that of read. Okay. So nothing much change. So here it is a buffer that contains the data to be returned to the file. Okay. So here it is not an empty. So it will have the buffer which will be having the data. Okay. And the size is size how many bytes of data that is there in the buffer argument. So nothing but size of buffer. Okay. So these are the three parameters. The next one is close. So close is meant for disconnecting a file from the process. Okay. So we have said that when you open a file, when you create a file, you are establishing a connection between a file and the process. Okay. The opposite of open is close. So close will disconnect, okay, the connection between the file and the process. Okay. So very simple here. Okay. So this is the only header file we need. Okay. So close, okay, and write the name of the file descriptor. Okay. So the argument file descriptor is an integer file descriptor that refers to the open file. Okay. So if the written value of close, okay, is 0 if the call is successful, and -1 if it is fail. Okay, if it is not able to close the particular file with a particular file descriptor, it will return -1. Okay, so this is very important. So when you write any APIs, okay, if they ask in exam, explain, write API, read API. The first thing is you have to explain what is that API. You have to write the prototype, so or the syntax, okay, and you have to tell what is the return type, okay, and try to give an example. So close function will delocates all the system resources. Okay. Whatever the system resource is allocated for the particular process will be delocated, okay, deallocated. And if the process terminates without closing all the files it has opened, the kernel will close those files for the process. Okay. So that is about close. So most of the time what you get is explain following APIs. Okay, like that they will ask. Okay, for first one close, second one write, read. So like that they will give you around 4 5 APIs. Okay, and each one you have to explain. So individually also they may ask. So the next one is FCNTL. The FCNTL stands for file control. So file control. So this function helps the user to query or set access control flags. Okay. So and close on exe flag of any file descriptor. We saw different access control flags, right? So in the open API we discussed different flags, correct? ORD only flag, O non-black flag, non-block flag. Okay, so like that there are different access control flag. Okay, you want to set any access control flag or you want to query, you want to know about access control flag. Okay, or even there is one more flag called as close on exe flag. You want to know about these flags, you can make use of this function API. Okay, so there are three arguments. The first argument is a file descriptor. Okay, so the second argument is CMD. So CMD stands for, okay, which performs command. Okay, it's a command which performs operation on the file that you have referenced. Okay. So I'll tell more about the CMD later. Okay, what are the values about this? So first one is a file descriptor. Second one is operation to be performed. Okay. And third argument, see here we have not given third argument. You can refer third argument, and this third argument depends on the second argument, value of the second argument. And there is one important header file. Okay, so this is a header file which is must for this function. Okay. So second argument, what are the values we can specify? So these are the argument values you can specify for CMD. Okay. So we can go through this. Okay. So this is for getting the flag. This is for setting the access control flag. This returns, okay, close on exe file, flag on the file referenced by the file descriptor. Okay. It returns 0. Okay. If the flag is off, okay, on otherwise. Next one is set FD. Okay. So these three are for, okay, this is for close on exe flag. I will explain this with the example, it will be clear. And the last one is duplicate. Okay. Duplicate file descriptor with another file descriptor. Okay. For example, you will have a particular file descriptor. Okay. For example, 3. Okay. You want to change it. Okay. You want to change it to 40. Okay. So if you want to change the file descriptor value to another file descriptor value, you can make use of this CMD value. Let's look into this example. Now look into this example. We have opened a file. This is a file we have opened in the read-only mode, and you can see this is the initial file descriptor. What is the initial file descriptor? It is 3. Okay, 3 is the initial file descriptor. And you are now executing this file control, okay, with the 2 parameters. The first parameter is file descriptor that you have got it as 3, and next one is get FL. The get FL, what it will return? It will return the access control flag of the file descriptor. Okay, so it will return. So these are the access control flags will be returned, and it will be stored in the variable A. Okay, so it returns the access control flag of the file descriptor. So it is in the numerical value. You can see here. Now what you do is you run once more FCNTL. Okay. So here you can see you are specifying even the third argument. So when you are specifying third argument, when you are using the flag, this one, CMD value as duplicate. Okay. So you duplicate the file descriptor. So what you want to duplicate? You want to change the file descriptor. So you are changing that 3 to 23. Okay. So new file descriptor value you are giving as 23. You can see here, see out, it will give it as 23. So this one simple example you can give. Next one is lseek. Okay. This is one more API lseek. The lseek system call is used to change the file offset, okay, to a different value. What is offset? Just to give an example. Okay, imagine that you have a file and now the file pointer is pointing to 0th byte. Okay. It is pointing to 0th byte. I want to, okay, move to around the 20th byte. Okay, I want to move to 20th byte. Okay. That is a distance offset value. Okay. Offset is the distance or a different value. You want to change. Now it is pointing to 0. You want to change it to a 20th byte. So which function or system call we can use? We can use lseek system call. We can change the file offset to a different value. You can move the file descriptor pointer, okay, from here to here. So this is a prototype. So these two header files are must. So you have three parameters for file descriptor. Okay. Next one is second argument is POS. Okay. POS is nothing but, okay, it specifies a byte offset to be added to the reference location in deriving the new file offset value. How much position you want to add? Okay. So how much position here in our example I want to add 20, correct? I want to move from 0 to 20. Okay. So that is nothing but how many bytes? How many bytes of offset you want to add to the reference location, okay, to derive the new file reference, okay, new file offset value. I want to add here 20 bytes. And there is one more integer value, that is whence. Okay. So it is nothing but reference location. Okay. So here it takes three value here. So this third argument, it will take three values. So you can see here, seek current. Okay. That means current file pointer address. If you are writing here, okay, seek current, it will give you current pointer address. Okay, where exactly the file is pointing, whether it is pointing to the 20th byte or whether it is pointing to the 15th byte or 0 byte. Okay. Seek set. So seek set, it will give you the beginning of the file. Okay. So it will make the pointer to point to the beginning of the file. Seek end, it will make it to point to the end of the file. Okay. So it will give you the end of the file. Where? Which byte? The end of the file. Whether it is 200 bytes. Okay. So that is seek end. It is the end of the file. So all these three are defined inside the header file. This one, UTSP.h. Okay. So here return value of LC. Okay. So if it is LC is successful, okay, it's a new file offset address it will give you. Okay, whether it's a 20 byte or 200 bytes or 500 bytes, that new file offset address will be given. Okay, where the new read, okay, where the next read or write operation can occur. Okay, from 200 bytes you can start reading. Okay, or from 200 bytes again you can start writing. Okay, so if it is fail, okay, if it is not successful to move the particular other particular offset value, you are not able to move. In that case, it will return -1. It is one simple example. So you can see here, the first parameter is file. You are opening 1.txt file. It returns a file descriptor. Okay. So in the previous example, it has returned 3, and here LC. Okay, LC it will take 3 parameter. First one is file descriptor. Second is position. Okay, which position you want to read? You want to move to the second position. Seek from current. From current to the second position you want to move. So the file pointer is now will move to the second position. From there you can start reading the file. Okay. So this one simple example you can give. This you see, I couldn't execute at that time because I had not added the header file. Okay, so that was the reason it was giving error. Okay, I didn't add the header file. Okay, so this you can see for reading. The first one is a file descriptor. Second one is, okay, it's a buffer for temporary storing. I have defined 100 bytes of data you can store here, which is of type character, and size of that. Okay, size of that I want to read max 100 bytes I can read. Now you can see here in this what is the content. It is VCT put2. So that file content it will read and it will display here. Okay, VCT puttur. So this is one example you can give for read. Okay, for reading the content of the file. So this is for LSEEK. Okay, now LSEEK is from the current position, it is moving, it is making the pointer to point to the second byte. Okay, second position. Okay, to position it will move. You can try to execute some different examples, okay, related to LSEQ. Okay, so the next one is link. Okay, link function. So link function will create a new link for the existing file. So if you remember when we have studied about file attributes, okay, so there we said that in that 7 attributes, one of the attribute is a link, correct? If you remember, one of the attribute is a link, which tells that a file can have more than one link. Okay, so this link function will create a new link for the existing file. But remember, this function will not create a new file. It will just create a pointer, okay, or a pointer, or we call it as a link. Okay, so it creates a new path name for the existing file. So this is a prototype. Okay, so first argument, it is current link. So current absolute or relative path name is given here, okay, for an existing file. And the second argument is a new path. I want to specify the new path. Okay, so this is a current path of a particular file, and this is the new path to be assigned for the same file. Okay, if I'm having file 1, okay, or 1.txt, you have to give the current 1.txt file path, and here you have to give the new path. Okay, if this call is successful, hard link count, okay, hard link count attribute of the file will be increased by 1. Okay, it will be increased by 1. The link count will become now, when you try to execute, okay, when you check the attributes of the particular file for which you have given the new link, their link attribute, okay, that count will become now 2. Probably if it is 1, it will become now 2. Okay, so now it will be having not just one link, it will be having 2 links. Okay, so next one is unlink. So link is opposite of link. Okay, so unlink will delete a link of the existing file. Okay, a particular link you want to delete, okay, you can go for this unlink. Okay, so this is a header file which is must. Okay, so this decreases the hard link count attributes of the named file and removes the file name entry of the link from the directory file. Okay, so cannot link a directory unless the calling function has a super user permission. Okay, so to execute this previous one, okay, so to execute this previous one link function, you need super user permission, root permission. Okay, create new or delete the existing file path. Okay, a file is removed from count will become 0. Okay, when it becomes 0 hard link count, it means that it is not having any path, okay, or any link. In that case, the file will be deleted, and no process will be a processor will be linked to that particular file. So this is all for today. Okay. So you can see here, for unlinked prototype, there is only one parameter, that is the current link. Okay, the name path of the link which you want to remove. Okay, you can give here slash root slash 1.txt. So in that case, that path will be removed. Okay, then the link count will decrease by 1. Okay. So that is about unlink. So today We studied about different APIs. First one is Open API. Second one is UMask, okay, for changing the permission. Next one is read, write, okay, lseek, close the file, okay, and link and unlink. So these are the APIs we discussed today. Okay. Study, keep studying regularly. Otherwise, you will get confused with the prototype. Okay, syntax, arguments. Okay, you will get confused. Make a sheet of paper. In the sheet of paper, write all the prototypes so that you can recall. Keep recalling. Okay,